there, welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura, and I am joined by my producer, Ryan.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I didn't really know where that was going. Okay, cool, I'm a producer
It was
now.
going to your name, who is my co-host, and we are going to talk about the 1992 black comedy mystery, The Player, because it is Robert Altman season. I don't know why, but it just is.
I don't know if we'll cover another one of these movies. There's maybe something in one of them, but I'm not 100% sure.
I felt
don't
like
think so.
you told me there was something in Shortcuts.
Yeah, that's more, that's Julianne Moore. You see her.
You see her
you see all her bits and bobs, yeah. That'll be an interesting one. But, no, she's like bottomless at some point in the course of that movie. So
well, for the spin-off podcast that we eventually do when we get through the other 2000 films we have.
Well, that's not going to happen, but yeah, okay, carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this film, I mean, we have many stars, so we have many of the main cast, but then this film is chock-a-block with all of Robert Altman's best friends, which is the entire
film industry,
A-list industry of the 90s.
Yeah.
So the film stars Tim Robbins, Greta Sachi, Fred Ward, Whoopi Goldberg, Peter Gallagher, Vincent D'Onofrio.
And those are the ones who aren't playing themselves. The rest of the people in the movie are kind of playing themselves.
That is true. I'm sure there's more. The list is quite long, but
Oh, apart from whoever plays Martin Scorsese.
I'll talk about that.
Yeah, he's not Martin Scorsese, but yeah, obviously.
The synopsis that I pulled from Letterboxd is: a Hollywood studio executive is being sent death threats by a writer whose script he rejected. But which one? And the tagline is, everything you've heard is true.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, this movie's a goodie. Like, there's a lot of very memorable moments in this film. Like, very memorable moments.
Yeah, this is a true classic. And goddamn, I love movies in the 90s.
Yeah, 90s movies were very good.
Yeah. Do you wanna tell us about Robert Altman?
I do. This is going to be very long.
Why don't you just have fun with it, you know?
I'll try. Yeah, I'll try. You know what? I will weave a narrative with all this information that I have
Put
for you.
Put a little sass on it.
So, Robert Altman.
Whoa.
He's an American filmmaker. Or he was an American filmmaker. He died in 2006, I think. He would be regarded as one of the enduring figures of the new Hollywood era, making films with the likes of, Lucas, Spielberg, Scorsese, all sorts of, like that whole entire 70s period. He's kind of one of the seminal figures of that time. He worked for a company once that invented the machine for tattooing dogs for identification.
Whoa.
That's something he did. I remember a story on McCabe and Mrs. Miller. I think I told you this already. But Warren Beatty had written into his contract that Robert Altman was obligated to give him a take that he would direct himself, in the hopes, obviously, that it would be used. Now, obviously, with Robert Altman was used to doing, say, 40 takes per shot. That was just something that he did. And usually they would shoot the one for Warren. They'd never use it. But basically, he would just turn the camera over, and then he would just leave and just allow Warren Beatty just to get that little moment to shine. Let's put it that way. I think many would be aware that he's a massive influence for Paul Thomas Anderson. And I remember during the filming of Prairie Home Companion, when Robert Altman was very old and sick, PTA was going to step in to help with the filming, to complete the film, if Altman died during the course of the filming.
Cute.
Yes.
He was probably so full of cocaine at that time.
I don't think so. There wasn't really anything. That's more a 70s thing.
No, I'm talking about Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm going to pull this story right out of my butt. But I thought there was a whole thing about Paul Thomas Anderson hanging out with, like, Quentin Tarantino or something. And Paul Thomas Anderson was dating Fiona Apple. And
right.
they were both like not Fiona Apple, but the boys were like on cocaine, and she broke up with Paul Thomas Anderson. She's like, I can't deal with this. It's very annoying.
Jesus. Well, okay.
I'll double check my story, but go on and tell me more about Bobby.
Either way, he got his start because he tried to be a writer, but he got his start directing. He made at least 65 industrial films and documentaries for the Calvin Company. That's where he got his start. And that's when he moved into making feature films, of which there is a very, very long list of films involved here. And I always kind of remember Robert Altman started his, I wouldn't say he'd started a career late, but like he didn't start making films until he was at least in his 40s, if I remember correctly. But yes, he's known for, developing long shots, like tracking shots, and basically kind of very good at fabricating environments and basically setting. I mean, the player does a fantastic job of setting up everybody who's going to be a key figure in the film and within the first like 5 minutes, and you're completely understanding of what's going on. But yeah, I mean, he's a very notable figure, and I think it will come into pretty stark realization once I reel off some of these films, but it's going to be a thing. So in 1957, we have The Delinquents, Countdown in 67, That Cold Day in the Park in 69, MASH in 1970, which I would say is his breakout hit. Very successful film. Brewster McCloud in 1970, McCabe and Mrs. Miller 71, Images 72, The Long Goodbye in 73, Thieves Like Us in 74, California Spirit 74, Nashville 75, Buffalo Bill and the Indians or Sitting Bull's History Lesson from 76, Three Women 77, A Wedding 78, and then in 79 we have Quintet, A Perfect Couple in 79, that's Health in 1980, Popeye in 1980, your favorite. Come Back to Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean in 82, Streamers 83, Secret Honor in 86, Fool for Love in 85, that's our birth movie, Beyond Therapy 87, OC and Stiggs in 87, Vincent and Theo in 1990, then we have The Player in 1992, Shortcuts in 93, Pret-a-Porter 94, Kansas City 96, Gingerbread 98, Cookie's Fortune 99, Dr. T and the Women 2000, Gosford Park 2001, The Company in 2003, and then we close it out with A Prairie Home Companion in 2006.
He did a movie called Gingerbread and then Cookie's Revenge right after. Are they related?
Cookie's Fortune.
Oh,
well, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, since this is one of the longest filmographies I've had to say, that I've maybe got one or two wrong. I almost got it wrong in the middle. But yes, that's his full filmography. There's nothing else there.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a few of his films. A few of them I hate. Well, at least one in particular. Others I'm kind of right in the middle about.
Well, MASH isn't that bad, Laura. Really?
I've never seen that.
Oh, you've never seen MASH? What was the one you hate?
Dr. T and the Women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't like that movie. I saw it when it came out. Not a fan. But I watched Pret-a-Porter the other day. That was pretty good. I will watch anything with Richard E. Grant. He's a treasure. And he's also in this movie.
Yeah, he's probably the best thing in the movie.
He's another person not playing himself, though. But I guess if you throw Richard E. Grant in there, you're not going to have a bunch of people in 92 going, oh, yeah, look at him.
If you were blind, you would know it was Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, of course.
But, yeah.
This film was adapted from a 1988 book of the same name written by Michael Tolkien. Not Tolkien. We're missing the E. Tolkien. Who did not...
Oh, so this story's not set in Middle-earth then, because I was obviously very confused.
I'm sure that Tolkien could have written something other than that. He had a very imaginative mind.
Okay.
Michael Tolkien did not want this novel to be adapted into film. He wrote it as an attempt to disconnect from his movie career. He had directed a couple of films, one before and one right after The Player. He wrote some bangers, though. I don't know if you knew what he wrote. He wrote Deep Cover and also Deep Impact.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Not all of his movies start deep, by the way.
I mean, Deep Impact is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deep Cover's okay. That's the Lawrence Fishburne movie, right? Yeah.
With Jeff Goldblum. That movie's
yeah.
really good. The producer, David Brown, optioned the film rights and asked Tolkien to adapt the novel himself. David Brown also produced Jaws, by the way. Also, David Brown had one son who's named Bruce.
Wow.
Produced Jaws, had one son, named him Bruce.
I mean...
Home run.
Well, Jaws was either the make or break for a lot of people. Like, that film was something that was just spiraling out of control, so...
He knows how to get people to adapt a book.
I think a lot of people who were involved in the shooting of Jaws have mixed feelings about their time making that movie, I feel.
I thought you were going to say the people who worked on it all have sons named Bruce.
I mean, that would be a kind of like cultish behavior that I would quite appreciate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any problem with that. It's like, let's all name it after the shark, which was named after Spielberg's lawyer, you know. Like, that's kind of how that would be.
Well, the script for The Player was different, but they shared a common theme. And the producers had a really hard time selling the film, especially in 89 and 90, until Carrie Brokaw, who worked at Avenue Pictures, contacted Robert Altman, who wanted to do the film.
Okay.
Bada boom.
Yeah.
A few people wanted to work on this film, which is funny because there's so many people in this film, but one person in particular who was interested in the role of Griffin Mill, who is played by Tim Robbins, was Chevy Chase. But Warner Brothers did not want to work with him. So he did not work on this film at all.
Okay. Yeah, because as we've come to realize, he's a difficult character. He's a very strong personality, is what I hear. Chevy Chase. I don't know. I think it'd be a very different thing. It'd be like, Fletch. It's like, do you see Fletch in that role? You know, that's kind of what I wonder.
One tall man deserves another.
Yeah.
So we'll get Tim. But Altman worked with Tim Robbins all the time. All the time.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Vincent D'Onofrio and Greta Scacchi, who are both in this film, were in a relationship at the time of this production, and they had a child together when the film was released in 1992.
Wow.
That daughter, Layla D'Onofrio, Layla D'Onofrio, who was born in 92, was married to Sean Penn from 2020 to 2022. You're trying to figure out her age, right? The most important thing is there's a 32-year age gap between them.
Right, because I was like, the way you said it, I'm like, is she 10 years old when she gets married?
No, she's 28.
Right.
But still, Sean Penn is 60?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. Like, he's significantly older. That was maths that I was not even going to try and even pretend to comprehend. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I just find it, alarming. But,
Hey, look, that's the lizard elite, man. That's what they're like. That's what they do. It's just like an incestual pool of movie makers and stuff like that in Hollywood. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Well, this is something that you're probably going to get excited to talk about, which is the fact that the film opens with an 8-minute uncut tracking shot.
Yes. But also, well, I wouldn't say all of Altman's movies kind of start this way. It's not like Brian De Palma, because all of his films start with long fucking tracking shots. Some are good, some aren't so good. But no. Well, the thing is like the film from the very beginning, because I think it keeps in the slate for like this take. It keeps in. I think that's the actual slate, although it's obvious that it's a rehearsed slate. But yeah, it keeps on the slate and it says the title of the movie, and then it just kind of starts. But like I said, I think that tracking shot's like, if that tracking shot's not there, you're spending more time for the rest of the movie trying to figure out the relationships between these characters, when really This film just does a very good job of starting all that stuff up in like 6 minutes. I think a lot of other films made now could deal with taking a few pointers from a scene like this, just to speed up your fucking film, like, for fuck's sake, please.
Yeah, it's a great way to introduce all of your characters, but also introduce the plot, like, without laying it out on the line.
Yeah,
By passing conversations and peeking in through windows.
And Altman was really, really good at this. He would have two conversations going on in the same frame sometimes, and you would still be able to hear both conversations. And there's a great shot in the player, because it's very. He's taken a few things like very like documentary sensibility, where you're kind of looking at everything from a distance, and those shots just develop, and you don't ever cut because obviously you never know what's going to happen in real life, all that sort of thing. So I think that's where a lot of that comes from in his filming style, and he does put in a lot of improvisation. He likes to basically give his actors as much free reign as possible because they're the artists to him, so he has to just make sure that he's keeping their confidence going and telling them how good they are and patting them on the head and shit. But I just think like it's a very good pieces of writing put together, shot incredibly well, that just help to tell the story. And I think films nowadays could do a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
as opposed to like exposition heavy or like trying to be smarter than you actually are. It's like, no, just tell the story. Like just show me these people do this, do that, and you can make it interesting. So,
yeah, that shot was planned with models before production, and the studio lot location that they used was paved just before, so they could have like that smooth dolly movement.
Yeah.
Actors and the crew rehearsed the day before the shoot, and Altman filmed a total of 10 takes.
Yeah.
Which I think is so interesting because I didn't know that he was one of those directors that were known for doing multiple takes.
That's what I remember from the 70s, because he was definitely heavy into drink and drug use. Because like you would go to like these film sets back then, and everyone would be fucking high, or like they just wouldn't film anything that day. Or like they would just like, because there's so many stories like that, and I wouldn't think that Robert Altman was any different than those stories, say about like Michael Cimino or Dennis Hopper when they were making their movies. But I always knew him to be someone who just like he's gonna take as many takes as he needs to. He would do like a minimum of like 30 to 40 on every single shot, and then that would be it. But he's very deliberate, so it's not like he's doing coverage. Like, that's the shots he's getting, that's it. Like, that's your film, basically. So, I'm guessing that's why he also does the 40 takes, is that the guy doesn't do coverage, at all. So, it's like one angle only, so.
Well, it was Altman's idea to ask Fred Ward to mention other famous tracking shots for irony. Well, that's funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've seen Touch of Evil, have you not?
No.
Okay. That's one they reference. It's Touch of Evil. It's the Orson Welles movie.
Yeah, I knew it was a black and white, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Some
but it's
old
like
movie.
Yeah, but it's very good. It's like very good.
You know what I also haven't seen?
What's that? M's also very good, about the child killer.
I don't know. Spoilers.
I mean, that's the synopsis of the movie.
I haven't seen
the Fritz
it.
Lang movie. Well, I think I own it. Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's good.
You own films.
I do own films. Yes, that's right. They are, at least while they're still working, I own them for just now. It's not my fault that you haven't watched them. They're in the goddamn house.
I'm just letting you know because M is referenced in this film.
A fair amount, yeah.
Plenty of times. So that tracking shot was one of the longest unbroken tracking shots until about 2008 when Steve McQueen's Hunger came out. It's kind of hard to keep track of all of them. There's not like a cohesive list. But
how does that make sense? Because I mean, there's a film called Russian Ark that's all one big long tracking shot, and it's 90 minutes long.
See, that's kind of where I had a hard time figuring out that particular thing, because it's like, yeah, you have a whole film that's one shot.
Yeah, but I mean, also Jean-Luc Godard's Weekend starts. I think that shot is 20 minutes long. as well. So
Okay, well, it was a long one. It was a long one. That's all I'm saying.
right, okay.
I couldn't find a list. If anyone has a list of all the tracking shots,
Because
send it to me.
Because no one does tracking shots anymore because they're trying to retain people's attention because they're too busy looking at their phones.
Well, if that's the case, then they should be able to find a complete list, right? And they can send it to me.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I will have it. The writer who is pitching The Graduate Part 2 is actually a cameo by Buck Henry, who co-wrote the screenplay for The Graduate.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And the man who is mistaken for Martin Scorsese is Alan Rudolph. So when he says, he's like, oh, I know Harvey Keitel. He worked with him on Mortal Thoughts the year before. And also
Right.
Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Bruce Willis, who is also in Mortal Thoughts, is in this film as well.
Yeah.
What did you say? Traffic was a bitch?
It's like, what took you so long? Traffic was a bitch. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's phenomenal. And it's also like the film itself, it is very core. It's very anti-Hollywood. Like, I think it's the perfect setting and veneer for this sort of murder mystery affect. Also, like, the way that the film ends is like, it just shows how grimy like people with money are, because it's like, spoiler alert, like he literally gets away with murder, and he's rich and he's white and he's like, I make movies and I'm really important, and he's just a total fucking asshole.
Can you guarantee me that happy ending?
Yeah.
All right, you're greenlit.
So good.
Let's go.
So good. And it's like, it's self-referential, because, you know, the ant is anti-establishment, anti-Hollywood, it's anti-corporation. Like, it's very, I just love the fact that it's just Tim Robbins being the biggest piece of shit, like, on the planet. And it's like, that's his business, though. You know, like, that's why he is where he is because he's the biggest piece of shit.
This entire thing kicks off because someone hurts his feelings. You know, it starts with mean postcards like, I hate your guts, asshole. And then he just doesn't appreciate someone being mean.
Yeah, but it's also alluding to like his potential like demise. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's a legitimate threat.
Well, he has it coming to him from inside and outside. So he has the threat of Larry Levy, played by Peter Gallagher, who they are, you know, he's gunning for his job.
Yeah.
And they think that Griffin's, you know, career is over. So he's got this internal threat, and then he has this external threat, which he's like, I'm not sure. Is he actually threatening me? Yes, he is probably threatening you.
But what you find is that he's able to kind of snake his way very smartly into the position that he gets himself into.
I suppose, but I think it's also still the fact that it's a money thing, it's a power thing. Like, he's not smart. He does incredibly stupid things, and everybody knows he did it.
Yeah, they just can't prove it. That's what I love about it. It's just so scummy, so unbelievably scummy.
He's sweating all the time.
Oof.
He's obviously a disheveled man who just can't handle it. But then repression can do wonders for someone.
Well, he has a whole conversation with Whoopi Goldberg, and she's like twirling a tampon like around her finger.
That was the weirdest thing. No one does that.
Well, she's trying to freak him out, trying to weird him out, to try and get him to say and do things. You know, they start freaking him out a little bit, because there are a bunch of dysfunctional weirdos at that police station. All those detectives, like, they're weird. They're strange. But yeah, no, I mean, there's so many good things in here. I mean, one of my favorite lines, I think it's in that initial tracking shot, is there's a couple of women pitching a film idea, and they're like, "Oh, it's Out of Africa meets Pretty Woman."
The amount of times that someone says Julia Roberts makes me cry.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
It's like, yeah, because they're like, no, she's the hot property right now. Julia Roberts is going to be in everything. It's like, how can we put Julia Roberts into something? But yeah, I mean, the film is full of yeah, you would refer to them as cameos. Like it's just cameo pieces of people playing themselves. And they're as good. I mean, as as the standalone cast as well. So like everybody's good in it. I mean, Sidney Pollock's in it as like his what would you call him? Like his like minder. His like I don't know.
Is he he's not his attorney, is he? No.
No, he's
Because
not.
that guy in the wheelchair was his attorney.
Yeah, because that's the second film we've seen him in quick succession. Because he was also the doctor in Death Becomes Her when we watched that.
92 as well.
92, yeah. So
92.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, the actors typically did one-day shoots. They were paid union scale, and they donated their salaries to the Motion Picture and Television Country House and Hospital, which is the community for retired filmmakers. And none of their cameos were scripted. So they just came in, worked one day, talked shit, went home.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Good.
I didn't I don't remember exactly where this comes in the whole thing chronologically, but it made me laugh that it's another LA movie with a secret rattlesnake attack.
Yeah.
Because how is this happening a lot? Are there just an abundance of rattlesnakes in that general area where you can put them in people's mailboxes, like Color of Night? Also, Bruce Willis is in that movie.
Well,
like
I think it's also due to the fact that like when it's in the desert, there's rattlesnakes there. But there seem to be a spat of films that have like here, let's trap them in a room with a fucking rattlesnake because that's an efficient way to kill someone. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. It's weird. Like I've never found it to be. Yeah, there's like so much risk involved in it.
Is it like in the 80s, everyone was really scared of the Bermuda Triangle and quicksand? And then in the 90s, everyone was super scared of snakes.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think the threat of quicksand has ever gone away. Like, I think that's always ever looming,
Same as the Bermuda Triangle. It's still there.
It's not leaving unless Bermuda goes somewhere else.
It's going to suck us up into a storm.
Aye. Either
Disappear
way.
like Lost.
Yeah, it'll be like a black hole. I'll just get sucked into it eventually. But yeah, no, I think the threat of sinking sand is ever present, I feel.
Well, they could have added it to this movie, but I don't think they're scared anymore. It's just snakes.
Like if Vincent D'Onofrio just got sucked into a sinking sand patch, and his like little feet are sticking out the ground.
Yeah,
like,
and he just doesn't help him.
Yeah, he just doesn't help him. He's just like, no.
Because I also think someone got, and I know it's not the 90s, but in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, someone gets snicked by a snake.
Yeah.
Because when the kids' brains melt or whatever, all the snakes and bugs come out.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Justice for Halloween 3.
But, yeah, I really like that murder scene. Like, one of my favorite parts is when he turns around and he can see his handprint on the window.
Yeah.
Of the door, and then it's like, he's like, it's all about the suspicion, and then he ends up shacking up with Vincent D'Onofrio's missus, who seems very okay with the fact that Vincent D'Onofrio is just not going to be around anymore. Once Tim Robbins comes into the picture. But yeah, and also, I mean, it has maybe one of the greatest scenes ever made for a film that's about movies is that pitching scene from Richard E. Grant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where he's describing what can only be seen as potentially one of the worst films ever made.
No stars. Yeah. Everything's lit by candlelight.
There's not a dry eye in the house.
I really loved all those pitching scenes because you can see they're coming in. This is their moment, and they're giving their all to this pitch, right? And they will always bow to whatever Griffin says. Like if he has ideas or suggestions, they're like, "Oh, sure, whatever you want," because they just want their film to get made.
Yeah,
and that's what ends up happening to Richard E. Grant. No stars. But then who is it?
Julia Roberts, yeah. I mean, Peter Falk, Susan Sarandon's also in that movie when they finally screen it, and then Bruce Willis comes in. And I do like, there is that one shot where he breaks the glass, and obviously the poison pellets have been dropped. But like the glass opens and then they're all just like, oh no, they're just like wafting their noses and trying to cover up their faces. 'Cause obviously the poison gas is in there. Bruce Willis doesn't though. He walks straight in there, picks her up, says the final line, the end. And it's like, yeah.
Habeas corpus.
Hideous corpus.
You know that someone actually was trying to license the rights to that film, the fake film Habeas Corpus, so they could make that movie
Oh, okay.
after this film.
Yeah, it's not as funny though if you actually make it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as funny, idiot. Like,
Mind if I jump into this penis scene?
yeah, you jump into
We're
it.
gonna fast forward towards the end of the film, so it is an hour, 43 minutes, and about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So Griffin goes to the Two Bunch Palms Resort in Desert Hot Springs with June because they had a mix-up, because he obviously shouldn't be leaving the country because he is
No.
under investigation for a murder.
Yes.
And he, along with June, who is the ex of the murdered person,
Yeah. Scott Sachi.
they were gonna go to Mexico. And they don't because the cops are all over the airport. So he's like, why don't we just go to Desert Hot Springs? Which is
Yeah.
where he always went with. Her name was Bonnie, right? The other executive that worked at the studio.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she gets it really rough because like they're going out with each other, and then he just kind of finds somebody else.
Yeah, it's the classic spa session that she wanted. Massages, mud bath, margaritas.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, we'll just go there. And they end up having sex, but this is not the penis scene.
No, they're
But
just really sweaty.
I do find it kind of interesting because even watching the scene before I had done the research, I go, boy, this is shot really close. It's really close. You don't see any other part of their bodies other than their necks up, like shoulders up.
Yeah.
And apparently Greta, who plays June, refused to shoot the scene nude. And so they kind of had to work around that. So they just shot the heads.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
It
just make them real
absolutely-
wet.
It absolutely works. A lot of kissing and stuff. I did think about it in the moment.
Yeah.
I always do when people take off their clothes. I go, where's the rest? But it still works for me. I
But
was
yeah,
okay
it's
with that.
still Tim Robbins, of which this is not his first foray into this.
What, sexy stuff?
Yeah, because we're gonna cover him again in another episode.
Oh, you'll have to tell me about it later. I don't even remember. You're getting even more knowledgeable than me about all this. Good. So Griffin and June are in a mud bath, and Griffin gets a phone call from his attorney that is obviously quite urgent. And as he, because he's under investigation.
Yeah, well,
For a
he has
murder.
to go. Yeah, Sidney Pollack calls him up and he's like, "Yeah, why have you not told me about this Kahane business?" And basically, he has to take part in a lineup because they have a witness. So
So good.
yeah, it's really good.
Well, as Griffin exits the mud bath, he gets up, takes about a quarter turn to the left,
Yeah,
and
it's very like for him it looks very awkward. It looks a little awkward.
getting out of the tub, it would probably be hard.
I think it wouldn't. Yeah, like I said, I think it's like naturally awkward because you're getting out of a mud bath. So obviously it's like that.
And he's 18 feet tall, that man.
yeah.
Tim Robbins is huge.
He is a very tall individual, but yes, the child who was clothing him, and by child I mean he was at least 20, gives him his giant towel, and that thing's just dangling right near his face.
I mean, and he probably had it near his face 40 times, as you're telling me about Robert Altman. He
Yeah,
needs all those
probably.
takes. So
Yeah,
there was a 1995 interview that Tim Robbins did with Playboy, and he was chatting about frontal nudity in film, and the interviewer asked him, what's the hang up about male nudity in films? Tim Robbins kind of didn't answer it particularly well, in my opinion, but I'll say his response anyway. He said, I don't know what it is. I don't know a lot of women who are turned on by a flaccid dick either. But there's also the theory that nudity doesn't really make something sexy. The characters and their relationships make it sexy. The scene in The Player in which Greta Sachi and I make love is filmed, I think, in a way that's incredibly sexy. And you don't see anything but our faces. So he kind of doesn't mention his nudity in particular, but he mentions the sex scene, which is which is kind of funny because there is female nudity in the earlier part of the film with Bonnie when they're in the hot tub.
Yeah.
And then you have the male nudity with him, but neither of them necessarily are in any kind of erotic way. So, yeah, but that was his idea on male nudity. No one wants to see a flaccid dick. No women get turned on by a flaccid dick, he says.
Yeah, no, I would
That's
agree.
His opinion.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
So.
Well, dicks look weird sometimes. You know?
Well, I think that's the fun about the human body. Everyone looks different, you know? And that's the beauty of humanity.
Yeah. But just to kind of wrap that up, yeah, he's out of the bath, but I would also say that this is relatively quite brief as well. It's clear enough, but like it's brief, basically.
Casual.
Very casual. The most casual of casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig it. I definitely dig it. So I did like that I think there's the titular line is said 2 times and it's right at the end of the film and it almost ends the film, but it doesn't. But I do think that the very last line of the film is still one of my favorites.
Well, the first line of the movie is the thing. I think it's called The Player when they're doing the clap at the very beginning of the movie.
They say it?
I think they do, or if they don't say it, then it's definitely said on the clapperboard.
Okay, that makes sense for that to happen, but I don't remember that. But at the end of the movie, when he gets that call from the postcard man,
yeah,
and he's like, "What's the name of the movie? The Player? The Player. I love it."
Yeah,
and then the very last line is, "What took you so long to get home?"
Yeah,
and then traffic was a bitch, just like
traffic was a bitch.
Habeas corpus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, in the film itself, I don't think this is spoilers because it doesn't have any bearing on the film whatsoever, but you don't really necessarily get to see who the not the killer, but the postcard, who was sending the postcards this time, like who was the writer that was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was actually confirmed by Robert Altman that the man who gave the eulogy for David Kahane, the guy who was up at the podium giving the eulogy, he was actually wearing the same outfit that David Kahane was wearing when he was murdered. He was the one who was sending the postcards.
Huh, interesting.
And he's giving that really kind of intense speech.
Yeah.
And it's the same, that guy who was giving the speech was the person who called. It's the same voice.
Okay.
Same guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the budget for this film was about $8 million, which is crazy considering how where they
things
shot,
are now, yeah.
where they shot, who was in the film. But because everyone is best friends, apparently, he didn't actually really pay any of the cameos, because they were paid scale.
Yeah, of course.
And we haven't finished the show yet, but that Apple show, The Studio, Bryan Cranston plays a character named Griffin Mill.
Huh, interesting.
Homage.
Huh, cool.
To the old Player. This film was nominated for Best Director, Screenplay, and Editing at the Academy Awards. This came out the same year as The Crying Game.
Okay.
And let's see. Oh, Clint Eastwood won for Unforgiven for director. Also won for editing.
Yeah.
And for adapted screenplay, it was Howard's End that won over The Player.
Oh, who did Howard's End?
Who directed it?
Yeah,
was it not James Ivory?
Yeah, I thought it was a Merchant Ivory movie.
Yeah.
Howard's yeah, that's right.
With Anthony Hopkins, right? And
yes.
Emma Thompson?
Potentially, yeah.
I'm fairly sure.
Yeah. I think, because it's either that or what's that other one about the Ashes? Not the Ashes, it's something else. Something with the Manor. Anyway, yeah,
okay.
Either way. Yeah.
Well, it won Best Direction and Adapted Screenplay at the BAFTAs. I don't think it was called the BAFTAs yet, but the British Film Awards.
Okay, I see.
Oh, yeah.
I see. Yeah, yes.
Do you have anything you want to add before we jump into our ratings?
No, other than he had a fax machine in his car. That was cool.
I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked how specific he was about water that he drank. Every time he ordered water, he ordered a different kind of fancy water.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
Yeah. I don't know why. Well, are you thinking? Are we ready? You ready for this?
No, I was looking at Anthony Hopkins' filmography, but I can't see the other thing that he was in. It's like something to do with ashes and fire or whatever in a house, whatever it was.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter. I'm surprised it's not coming up, though. That's the thing.
Okay. Well, in terms of visibility and context, I'm going with a 2.5. I think the visibility is fine. We're there in the daytime. I think, and this film is incredibly, perfectly balanced in terms of nudity, which I love. And it's just that kind of casual nudity that I can really appreciate. When people think about The Player, they never think, oh, that's the movie with Tim Robbins naked in it.
No.
That's not something you think about. It's not like Color of Night, but that's an erotic thriller, so that's completely different. But it's just like you think about Bruce Willis naked in that movie. In this movie, it's just an all-rounder, very funny thriller mystery that happens to have a wiener in it.
Yeah, because it's part of the naturalism of the situation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And would you like to go in terms of your would you like to go now?
I would, yeah, and I figured it out. It was Remains of the Day. That's also a James Ivory picture. That was from 93, though.
Did I have it wrong? Is Howard's End the one I thought it was?
I don't know. Maybe it is Howard's End.
Okay, well, you go on and I'll find out.
So for the scene, I gave it 2. Because again, it is relatively quite brief as much as it's in full brightness, but because of the briefness, I think it's a 2 only. And also, like, it's just, it's kind of just an awkward scene as well, because of obviously the realism that's a man trying to get out of a bath of mud. But yes, I would give it a 2. I think that 2 is a pretty decent score for it.
Yeah, I was right about Howard's End, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're fine.
And for the movie, I gave it a 4.5. It was an upgrade from the last time I saw it, which I rated it 4. I think it's really fun. Robert Altman has a tendency to really make movies that are too long. I watched Predator the other day, 2.5 hours long. You watch Nashville, goddamn, I think it's 4 hours long. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that they're and a long run time doesn't equate to poor filmmaking or just a not enjoyable experience. It's just so long. Very, very long. And it also doesn't equate to it being good if it's extra long. And I think that people nowadays need to remember that. Make movies shorter. Luckily, this is only about 2 hours, so it's not overly long and it isn't boring at all. There's not a part of this movie that I would take out. So I'm fine with that. I just think it's funny. I think it's nostalgic. I think it's incredibly clever and fun, and I would watch this movie again.
Yeah.
And again.
Well, I gave it 5, and I think there's no notes for it. It's probably the best of its kind of that sort of thing, I feel.
I'm with you there, because one of the big reasons that they had a hard time selling this movie is because producers didn't think that one of the general public wanted an inside look at the Hollywood system. They didn't think that it would connect with them. They didn't think they would find it interesting. But the way that Robert Altman shot it, created this whole narrative and the world, you can connect with it, and it is really fun and super engaging.
It's riveting.
It's weirdly riveting.
Yeah, and the thing is like, that's kind of what it is like, like you take your opportunities when you get them, you pitch your ideas, like you have to be good at pitching in the film business. But yeah, no, I find it really interesting, and certainly I love how these obviously these real yet kind of like fictitious directors and writers that are in this film, like the sort of projects they latch onto as well, where you're just like, that is fascinating that you would find any sort of value in that project whatsoever. Yes, I do find that amusing. But yeah, no, 5 stars. 5 stars. Yeah. It's honestly, to me, it's one of the best of its kind. Really, I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
and it's referenced all the fucking time.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, even now. And here we are. Well, boy, oh boy, thank you for going on this journey with us today. Make sure to follow us on Letterboxd, and you can find that information on Instagram at onthebeat, BiTTE, and give us a review, as long as it's good, 5 stars, because that's us. And coming to you from the Two Bunch Palms Resort, I have been Laura.
Traffic was a bitch.
That's right. See you later. See you at the movies. Now, more than ever.